Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We've got something special for you this week. We've got us an emergency episode from the future. This is Gorman on Gore. I'm your host, Peter Gorman. With me, once again, is my co-host, Jacob.
Oh, hey.
How you doing, Jacob?
I'm doing all right. I mean, I know, actually, that's not entirely true. I do feel like I'm coming down with something, so.
Really? You got the Rona, Jacob?
No, I mean, no, I'm all, like, I don't know, do you get, like, a runny nose from coronavirus? I don't think you do.
Yeah, you do. But
Okay.
you also get runny nose from, like, any number of other things. You know, it could just be the changing of the weather. I noticed, like, I get a bit runny nose from just going into fall. And that's where we are, folks.
Mm-hmm.
See, we recorded a big old backlog of episodes, and I'll eventually get back to them, but we just finally had some decent premieres of horror movies, and we just felt compelled to come in on short notice and just, you know, share our thoughts about one of the more recent ones.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy this fancy new mic that I'm on, which I eventually get in the older episodes. Like, this is weird because it's like you're seeing me from the future, which is your present, you know. How you doing, Jacob? You said you're sick?
Yeah, I already said I'm, like, feel not that great. I did make a nice Szechuan mala sauce earlier, and I'm feeling pretty happy about that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I just had my apples finish for the season. Although I have like 5 different varieties. I got one of those apple trees that have 5 different branches with 5 different types of apples. And so they don't all kind of get ripe at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked a whole bunch because they started falling off of the branches. So I was like, well, whatever, that's good enough. I don't actually know if they're good or not. Like, that's close enough.
Sure.
They're a little bit green, but they can still ripen a bit out in a basket and, you know, in my house. So that, you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's fall, you know, all of the harvests are coming in. The weather's changing. It's getting cold outside. It's time to just, you know, curl up and watch a horror movie on a streaming service because you don't have the bravery to go out into public and see it in a theater just yet.
I was looking, and it is gonna be such, like, when I work up the nerve to actually go to a movie theater, it's gonna be such a pain.
Yeah.
There's nothing close.
Oh, isn't there?
No, it's a bummer.
I was so close, you know, because today we're doing Malignant, you know, which is out in theaters right now as of recording.
Yeah.
And I was so close. I was so close to going to theaters. I was literally about to walk out the door. And then I just like, well, I don't want to say like I curled up in the fetal position, but I was just like, I've been dreading this all week. Like, I just really don't want to go. So, you know what? I'm just going to bite the bullet, and I'm just going to get the subscription to HBO Max. It's half off right now for like 10 days. So like, I don't, hopefully I can get this thrown together to where like, maybe it'll benefit someone listening and they're like, hey, I could just get this for $7 instead of 15 for the ad free. And then I could watch whatever you want. But I don't have enough faith in myself. I don't think that's going to happen, but you know, we'll see. We'll see.
No,
so by September 26th of 2021, you know, that's when the deal ends one way or the other. So if it's past that day, I'm sorry. Yeah, you missed it. You should have paid better attention. You filthy animals. So apparently Amazon just kicked 5 million people off of the HBO end of their services on Prime. Like they finally just detached everyone. And so that they have this deal going right now to just try to lure people in. They're like, hey, it's half off. Just please, please buy our service.
Yeah.
Please.
Please.
There's so many of you who have just left.
We have the Snyder Cut, please.
Tell you, please come back. I didn't see the new Suicide Squad movie. I don't think that it's on the service, which is kind of a bummer. Maybe it's already come and gone.
Yeah, I saw it on there.
Well, it's only. Oh, well, I think it's only for like 31 days after debut, and then it goes away for a while.
Oh. Huh.
So it might have come and gone. It's possible.
I
saw the crappy one that no one cares about.
Yeah, so did I. I think
and Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of Harley Quinzel or whatever that one's called.
Yeah, that was the last movie I saw in theaters.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It's...
Oh, I think I saw The Invisible Man. I think was the last one I saw.
Oh, damn. Yeah, see, that being said, I think that the Harley Quinn movie is like, it's okay. I don't, you know.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sure it is. I haven't seen it, but it seemed okay.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't seem to tickle anyone's fancy, but that's not their fault.
Yeah. Why am I forgetting his name? Because I just watched a movie with him.
Ewan McGregor?
Yeah, Ewan McGregor's in it. He's pretty good.
I know he's in it. Yeah, and we did just cover Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, yeah. I shouldn't say that. You know, I might just take that out.
No.
Eventually, there will be an episode on Dr. Sleep.
There will. Here, that is too far. I cannot.
Months in the future.
Yeah, I cannot imagine the kind of person who would like get upset by that. You mean that they won't hear us discuss it? You spoiling that we eventually cover that? That's too much.
It'll drive people crazy.
I guess. No.
They'll be like, when's it coming out? You son of a bitch.
Okay, first
you
of all,
just drop these promises. You're just playing with our emotions, Peter.
Not enough people listen to this podcast to care about that.
Absolutely not. No, but one day. And also, you know what? I don't care, what reality is going to be telling me about any of this. I'm just going to live my life as if people give a damn. Okay. Maybe you got to fake it till you make it, Jacob. That's how this works.
All right.
Or you just fake it until you die. I mean, either way. So, I get satisfaction out of covering these movies. I hope other people enjoy listening to me covering these movies, and with you covering them as well,
Yeah.
For now, it's for us, for each other, and perhaps our extended family and friends, whoever cares enough to listen to us blather on about horror movies. Just, whatever. But you know what? People might actually really be excited for this one because we're doing something hot off the presses. This just literally came out a week ago.
Yeah.
Or I think it's technically 8 days as of recording.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Which we should get around to because that's what this whole episode's about. And this is going to be kind of a short one. This is just sort of an emergency podcast. We want to just discuss this. This was Jacob's idea. So you have him to thank for this.
Well,
so I didn't write my usual long ass notes. But yeah, short and sweet.
I mean, Peter, how could we not? I mean,
now that I've seen it, I actually agree, and we can and will get into. Here's the thing, okay?
Dereliction of duty.
For the audience who somehow doesn't know, whoever doesn't know that somehow, you clicked on an episode but didn't see what it was, or maybe you're playing through on a playlist, or you are stuck in a car with somebody who's playing this and they care but you don't. So, however you're hearing this, sweet listener, we're covering the 2021 film Malignant, with what is that lady's name? Annabelle Wallace or something? I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I know it is Annabelle Wallace. Man, I'm batting 1,000. First guess and I'm right.
Good job, man.
That lady is from that. Yeah, she's from the Tom Cruise Mummy movie. She's like the leading lady in that film. And as far as I know, that's it. I mean, I don't think she's done anything else really. At least not notable. Let me click on her thingy.
Maybe a little.
She was in Annabelle.
I was gonna say.
Sorry. Whichever is that? Oh, it's the first Annabelle, 2014.
Yeah.
So she's no stranger to horror.
And she also played.
And apparently, she's willing to put up with the exhaustive special effects that were in this movie.
Yeah.
What else was she in?
I was looking. She was in X-Men First Class as someone named Amy. I don't remember that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've seen that movie more than once, and I don't remember her being in it.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's like just standing in the background, like just before she's like famous.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, not to besmirch, No, she's good in this.
Oh yeah.
Or at least, wait, is she good in this? I think she's good in this.
I think she is good in this.
Yeah.
Although there are some.
Yeah, she plays Madison Mitchell,
mm-hmm.
Crazy lady, with strange past that nobody understands, even the people who have lived with her for years. Nobody knows anything about this woman. It is so strange. It's like nobody's explored anything about her, you know, or spoiler alert, like looked into anything about her. You know, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to get into it. Okay, so this will be a spoiler podcast here on Gorman on Gore. We're a horror podcast. We cover an entire movie scene by scene. We spoil everything. So I'm going to be giving away all the goods on this. However, because this is a shorter episode, we'll just be covering, you know, surface thoughts, impressions, just things I saw. This is not as exhaustive and exhausting as the normal Gorman and Gore podcast we do. This is more light and easy breezy. You know, we're just going to float through. I'm just going to tell you about the fun roller coaster ride that is this movie.
Yes.
I have to say the trailers do not give this movie justice. They were so wrong in the way that they did these trailers. They were done so dirty.
I
think it might actually benefit the movie.
Yes, I was
which
gonna
is
say,
weird, but I think it's true.
I was going to say, I'm so glad I came in thinking it was just going to be another, like, kind of, like, austere, kind of, like, The Conjuring, you know, like...
Yeah.
Yeah. And...
just another self-serious, earnest film.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Which, I mean, like, nothing wrong with that, but I mean,
yeah. From time to time.
Yeah. I mean, like, this movie is not that. I mean, it gets insane. And there's like a certain turning point, but it starts also very wacky.
Well, I was about to say, no, like, I don't think it ever turns. I think it starts insane, and then it just gets, like, crazier. I was so thrown off by that first scene that I thought it was a joke, like,
yeah.
You know, like in certain movies, they'll have like a cold open and they're doing like a bad movie. And then they're like, oh, hey, cut. Oh, you're out of frame or, whatever. Like that kind of a thing where like, something weird's happening. Or like, you know how like on certain movies or TV shows, you'll see a movie or TV show in that movie or TV show. And it's even more removed from reality and there's like no effort put into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how the beginning felt to me. I'm just like, what is this? It gives off real strong like Grindhouse vibes, like Planet Terror. Like it feels very much like that, where it's way like stratospheric, like out there like vibes, just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's also kind of funny because I do think the main actors are all pretty good, but in this first, well, I think so. But the doctor characters are just really hammed it up in this first scene.
Yeah, no, they really are.
Yeah.
I was a little embarrassed.
I
don't know. I feel bad saying that because I don't know. I have very mixed and complex feelings about this movie, and I'm gonna have trouble articulating it because like I'm repelled and attracted to the movie at the same time. Like it keeps pulling me back and forth. You're just like, oh.
See, the thing,
like I don't know. It's real hard.
See, that's interesting because
it's an emotional roller coaster.
My feelings about this movie are unambiguous. I love this.
Oh, really?
I love this movie. It's like Peter. Find me a better horror movie released in 2021. I don't think you can do it.
Well, I haven't seen Candyman yet, but I assume that's better.
Maybe. You know what? I haven't seen it,
yeah,
so
maybe.
I don't know. But I'm kind of thinking Malignant's gonna be
too afraid to go to theaters.
Well. Anyway.
No, me too. I'm saying.
Yeah, I think Malignant will end up winning out in the end.
I mean, I don't want to skip to the end, but the box office does not agree with you, Jacob. So
I don't.
It didn't do very well.
Okay, yeah, I don't care because I mean, like for one thing, like they're not going to make a sequel to this. And they shouldn't.
They should. Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to say things that are mean about this movie, but I'm also going to say that I very, very badly want a sequel to this movie. I want a sequel to this so bad. There must be more of this.
God, maybe.
I don't know. Like, I don't. It's like I want this to go on. I mean, we'll have to. I will have to explain why later. I mean, we haven't even got into anything.
No.
So yeah. So let's get into it.
All right.
Shall we? Oh, before we do, I do have the trailer for this. Let me see if I push the right button.
Are we gonna risk?
Prepare yourselves, everybody.
Peter, are we gonna risk that for?
Oh, getting it removed?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try, and you know what? If it doesn't work, I'm just gonna take it out later.
Okay.
So,
all right.
you know, I might have to just take out this whole part where I'm discussing it, but whatever. Yeah, because this just came out. If the copyright police are gonna come after me, this will definitely be the time. So, you know, you may never hear this episode at all. Or if you do, it might be all cut to hell. And I apologize in advance, guys. I'm doing my best here. I don't know how this crap works. So yeah, this is an abbreviated trailer anyway. I didn't want to listen to the whole thing. It just takes too long.
Sure.
You don't need a trailer for this movie.
When I was young, something happened to me.
Stop saying that.
Daddy, who are you talking to?
Gabriel.
Is he your imaginary friend?
Whatever you went through before you joined our family, it hurt you in a way that I can't even imagine. You created him.
Daddy, what's going on?
So that you could survive.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. That's it. Then it goes into a part with James Wan trying to explain himself. There's like another 2 minutes of trailer, but I'm like, that's enough. Whatever.
I will say there's something that I like about this project that I just learned today, and I thought it was very cute. That it's like, this is basically like James Wan using his, I guess, Hollywood clout to, because this is like, I guess this was like his wife's idea. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna help you out with this. I'm gonna be like really supportive. And I thought, you know what, that's really cute. I appreciate that. You know, they did that for her.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
that's interesting. You know, that explains a lot to me, actually.
I mean, that being said,
okay, so yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I appreciate the fact that James Wan will like do weird stuff like this every now and then. Like he'll do kind of the like expected stuff. You know, like, hey, here's new Annabelle. They're doing another one. Jesus.
Of course they're doing another one.
Yeah.
How could they not? They can't stop making money.
No, I know, but then he'll go like do something like Malignant, or like,
yeah.
I mean, I guess this one's still like pretty mainstream, but it is very funny that James Wan.
I don't know that it is. It pretended to be to get people to watch it, and that's what's so funny about it. It's like, this is some real out there stuff. This is
sure. No,
strange.
No, what I was saying is that, like,
yeah.
But then he'll also do stuff that's like really not to what his like type. The fact that he's doing like another Aquaman movie.
Yeah, he's right in the middle of doing that.
Yeah, it's like, that's great, because it's that doesn't feel like the kind of thing he would do, you know?
Yeah. It also means that he probably won't be finished by this movie if it doesn't do well. He'll be fine.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
I mean, like with like Insidious and Annabelle, he's making studios too much money for them to ever want to stop. Yeah.
A note that just keeps popping up throughout my notes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the same sentiment over and over again. I kept writing, is this a real film? Who paid for this? Whose idea was this? Like, why did they greenlight this? Yeah, that was the other one.
I mean, I have to...
And it's strange. Do you want me to tell you what I thought the movie was going to be before I found out what the movie actually is?
Go for
it. Yeah, well, okay. I thought this was a more serious film, in the vein of something self-serious like The Conjuring or Annabelle or whatever. and it was about a woman seeing visions being sent to her from like a remote location by something evil that was tied to her from her childhood. You know, maybe she made a deal with a demon, or her parents did, you know, a la those paranormal films where those are, I don't know why those have so many demons in them, but they do. So yeah, I thought it was something like that. It reminded me, or at least the trailers did, of, there's this old movie, I think it's Blink from 1993. I was trying to look it up. And it's about, I think that was Madeline Stowe, where she's blind and then she gains vision, but she sees things in weird ways because it's kind of coming to her slowly. And so she witnesses a murder, and then like visions from the murderer seem to come to her after the fact. I thought, I don't know if that's the right movie, but I thought there was one where a murderer was like sending her visions, and as soon as he figured out that that's what was happening, he was enjoying it, like torturing someone else with visions of badness, you know, the things he's doing. You're like, now I'll make you watch this. That's what I thought this movie was. This is not that movie. This movie isn't really like anything. I mean, okay, actually, there's one or two things it's almost exactly like, but like,
yeah, I was gonna say
none of those things are normal.
Well, none of them you would expect to see in a movie like this.
Yeah, that you spent $40 million making.
Because there are
in 2021.
There are a couple. Look at there's like one specific movie that I feel like there was clearly some kind of influence, but it's insane to even. Yeah.
We'll get into it. I mean, we can't mention it now because it'll give it away.
No.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, let's begin the movie. You know, such as it is. I mean, we're just going to kind of gloss over it as we go.
Yeah.
This was made by New Line Cinema, my sweet baby. I'm so happy to see the house that Freddie built, you know, just continuing to churn out some just real strange, over the top movies, you know? Like, I'm proud of them. Way to go, guys. The first scene starts in Arkham Asylum, aka the Simian Research Hospital. And, you know, it's not simian as in like ape. It's simian spelled Simion. I don't know why they did that. It's so confusing to me. I thought it was an ape research lab, but no, it's probably just some guy named Simeon.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah. This is by the way, this is one of those movies. I just read an article the other day about all of the horror movies that are associated with the 50 states of the U.S. And the one that they usually go to for Washington State is The Ring.
Oh, yeah.
And, actually, I still think that that's the best one. However, this movie, Malignant, is the second best. It gives us, like, more things than we deserve. For instance, the Simian Research Hospital. It's like this gigantic, like, it looks like it's 200 feet tall building.
Yeah.
It looks like it was designed by Ivo Shandor, the follower of Gozer. Like, he was supposed to summon spirits through the building or something.
Yeah.
Where did all this money come from in like the 20s or whenever, when you could just build a giant castle on the edifice of a cliff, like over like, you know, the coast of Washington State. Like, I love it, but it's totally false. You know, all of our stuff is pretty, you know, low to the ground. I mean, you know, we're kind of a new state, you know, it took people a while to get here, you know.
Yeah.
And the first people who got here were cheap. Let's be honest here, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, for those who care, it's a Washington State horror movie. I don't know why they did that. I mean, maybe just because they wanted to talk about the Seattle Underground for a while. That was weird when they started doing that.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah. But yeah, we're not there yet. I don't want to diverge too much. So at first we get a real kooky hospital scene where someone off screen named Gabriel is flipping out, and all of these people are going to try to subdue him, and he kills a lot of people. I don't remember exactly how it goes. And like I said, I didn't write this all down this time. These are just my surface thoughts. But yeah, this is when I first wrote, what the hell is this movie? Is this a real film? Creep show lighting. Because everyone's lit in like bright red, like through the whole like beginning part. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Creep Show. I mean, you should. It's not very good, but but it's a classic. And it has this wonderful thing where they try to imitate comic books, where when something terrible happens, they change the lighting so there's an extreme red and maybe an extreme blue on either side of their face, you know, as they're doing a scream. like, ah, and it like fades in real hot.
Yeah.
It's like that in this, you know, this movie that I thought was going to be serious, and everything's bright blood red lighting in this weird gothic hospital. And they're talking to a fleshy monster man who's like behind a curtain. And he's just like, I'll get you for this. And he's like talking to a radio.
Yeah.
What a crazy ass beginning. It is so crazy. I could not believe what I was seeing.
Oh, I know.
Did nobody see the dailies? I was just like, how did this happen? How did this movie get made? I see. That's another podcast, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm totally shocked.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure they'll cover it eventually.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, to be honest, that it's James Wan making the studio like $1 billion with the Conjuring movies.
Yeah. This is just his passion project.
Yeah.
They do knock out Gabriel, and you see that he's wearing panda socks on his feet. Mm-hmm. They're like gray socks with like pandas on them, which is, I guess, like supposed to be like a very minor clue, but honestly, it doesn't really help at all for what happens later.
No, yeah.
I'm just reading through like the order in which these are just my thoughts in order. And like this next one is, once again, this can't be the movie. like I'm just in disbelief for this whole beginning part. Yeah. So then they have like a bunch of these crazy, like Sam Raimi zooms on surgical instruments and whatever. And then the lady, I think her name is Dr. Florence Weaver. Mm-hmm. She's just like, it's time we cut out the cancer. And I'm just like, well, okay, but you know that this thing is a person. Like that's real reductive, even for something you don't like, you know, like that I didn't like that for a doctor to say. But it is a very grandiose thing to say.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it because she was hamming it up in the best way possible.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Yes, she was, Jacob. And like, hot damn, was that a not so cold open, you know, because nothing has been explained and it's so opaque for what's happening, you know, like, because it introduces a lot of really unbelievable concepts. Like there's a creature with some kind of powers that can control electricity and lighting and stuff, seems to have some kind of telekinesis, seems to be able to talk through radios and whatever. It has super strength. I don't know. It's like you cut to the weirdest part of a movie. Well, I guess that kind of is what it is, but I don't know. Certain things actually need an introduction, you know, like certain things probably shouldn't be a cold open. Or I don't know, or maybe just have it all off screen. I've seen some like that where they're just like, I'll be back. And, you know, and you don't really know what's happening, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, that's that scene. And that was in 1993. So then we cut to the right now times. So I guess it's 2021. Mm-hmm. And we have a pregnant lady home from work. I think she's a nurse. Do you know if she is a nurse? I think she is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, cause like that actually, you know, that comes up later because she hurts her head and then doesn't fix it, you know, and she's a nurse. So it's just like, what are you doing? Like, what, like, isn't this what you do? I don't understand you at all and your motives. She has an abusive husband. They're miserable. She's pregnant. She looks real pale and unhappy, and he's real abusive, and he gets real mad when she turns off an MMA fight that he's watching, because it's playing really loud, and she's all stressed out from work. She seems like a mess right from the start. And he's just like, hey, I was watching that. And she's like, please, I just need to take a nap. I'm like having a nervous breakdown. And he's just like, well, maybe it's because you keep trying to have these kids. Yeah, I wrote down that line. Did you write down what he said to her? I feel like it's one of those things.
I didn't.
As soon as you hear it in the movie, it'll burn into your head forever. I should have just recorded the audio. But he says, how many times do I have to watch my children die inside of you? I almost did a spit take when he said that. I was just like, what?
I know I shouldn't be laughing at that. But, you know,
who says that?
You know.
No, it's so horrible.
Yeah.
But it's also just so like, just way out of left field. You're like, whoa.
Yeah. No, he doesn't mess around.
Yeah, and I just wrote husband really sucks. And yeah, and he does.
Yeah.
She says something to him. I don't remember what it is, but he gets mad and throws her head into a plaster wall and like caves in the wall a bit. So it must have been some pretty substantial force, you know, and the back of her head is bleeding. So she locks him out. You know, he pleads to come back in, you know, but you know, she notices that she's still bleeding all over the place. But as I said, she doesn't do anything about it. She just like goes to bed. And so her husband just sleeps out on the couch. You finally start getting some good shots of like the exterior of the house and the and the wooden banisters and stuff. It's like some house from like the 1910s or 1920s, and it's just beautiful. Like I love this house that they're in.
Oh,
Their marriage is terrible, but their house is just wonderful.
oh yeah.
Like I'll take the house, you know, maybe not the marriage, but yeah. The husband goes out to the kitchen when he hears a blender turn on by itself. And so he turns it off. And then the fridge door opens by itself. So I mean, this all says telekinesis to me, but they don't actually ever explain this. So I don't know. Maybe it kind of has to be telekinesis, I suppose. Either that or the spirit or whatever it is, you know, the evil influence has to like somehow very quietly creep into a room, start to open something like a door or whatever, and then leave without anyone noticing, which that would be really funny if that was the case, but I don't think that's it.
No. Maybe it's one of those new smart refrigerators where everything is electronic inside of it,
Yeah.
even the door.
I noticed inside of the fridge, there's only takeout and soda pop. Nobody cooks.
No.
That made me kind of sad. You know, they're like, that their house is kind of, it's just a sign of how dysfunctional they are. It's just all like pizza boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
And like Chinese takeout. Like, oh man, no home cooked meals from either of you. I would have made the husband be the housekeeper just to like give him something because he's such a irredeemable pile of crap. Like just make him nice in one way, you know, like before he dies. Because spoiler alert, he's about to die, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge spoiler. I feel like if you watch movies, you can, you know, kind of get the hint.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of horror movies will have a bad character that just dies right away. And this movie does that similar thing where it sort of implies a lot of bad ongoing events. And so it's almost a relief when someone is removed from the picture.
Yeah.
As awful as that sounds. So, yeah, he goes out to the living room and he sees like a dark shape that looks like his wife in the darkness. He turns on the light and she's not there. But the cushion is rising up. And I honestly don't understand that part. I mean, that's amazing. Like, for a horror movie, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that means. Like, maybe it's telekinesis that pushed down the cushion where the shape would have been. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but come on. It's not about these little details.
Yeah. Well, the resettling cushion is very effective. I think it's really super awesome and creepy.
Oh, yeah.
It just doesn't make a super amount of sense. Oh, yeah. Also, this baddie in this like long-haired black woman shape, it reminds me of Samara from The Ring. You know.
Oh. Yeah, I was going to say he looks more like he belongs in the band Slipknot, if you remember them.
Sure, everybody does, Jacob.
Whatever, they used to be a thing. People knew who they were.
No, I know. I'm sure someone cares. No, I don't care, but that doesn't mean that other people don't.
Whatever.
So, yeah, the husband is accosted by this dark shape. He's thrown around and he gets his neck broken, and the husband is very dead. And I just wrote that he has a good broken neck prop. It's got like a crazy like spinal column like coming out the side of his neck. Like it hasn't broken the skin. It's just sticking out really far. It's just nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty gross looking.
And that's the end of Derek. That's Derek Mitchell.
Yeah.
Husband of Madison Mitchell. And yeah, and he's just kind of gone. I mean, he doesn't serve any purpose other than hurting her at the beginning. I guess that was his contribution to this timeline of events.
Yeah.
And apparently being unsupportive and incurious about his own wife and anything about her. He must not have ever asked her questions about her past. Nobody did. I'm so confused by her life. that she's like, you know, that everyone's kept her at arm's length like her entire life, to the point where they didn't know that she has visions, and, you know, she'll like seize up sometimes, and she's like weird about stuff. And, you know, every now and then lights flicker around her at all of this nonsense.
I mean, you never know, man.
Well, it might have only been a recent development, because it seems like it's only after this injury that she starts to manifest some of it.
Oh,
so maybe
yeah.
she was normal for a while, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the strong implication.
Yeah. So, you know, some detectives I don't like show up, and they find the husband's body and they talk about him. There's a forensics girl who's like in love with the detective. She might be my favorite character.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really like this character. It's like, what is the purpose? You know?
I don't know. I don't know. Because the whole movie is about Madison Mitchell being kind of nuts. And to be honest, every time they're not with her, I'm annoyed. I don't like any of the detectives. I don't like her sister. I don't like anybody. I want them all to die. Throughout the whole movie, I kept writing that. I'm like, please just kill these people.
No. I didn't mind the sister.
I do like the forensics lady, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You like the sister? No, I don't like her. We'll get to her.
She's fine.
Yeah. Oh, actually, we're just about there anyway, because, you know, the detectives come, take away the husband's body, and then, you know, Mrs. Mitchell, Madison, she goes home, and she's accosted by her evil double. It just looks like her, but like an evil shadow, and it's running around chasing her through the house. It looks awesome. She tries to like, close the door on it. It knocks it down, and she gets knocked out. She wakes up in a hospital, and she's sans baby bump. Holy hell, guys. Because, like, this is a heavy start for a movie, you know?
Well, yeah.
I mean, we got this cold open in a crazy hospital, and then we got this husband beats his wife, you know, hurts her very badly, and then husband dies.
Yeah.
And then she gets accosted by a spirit and miscarries her baby. Like, this is like all of the bad things, all at the same time.
I mean, yeah, it's weird because the movie does start pretty heavy here to how things go towards the end.
Yes, it does. But then again, it fits in a certain way, because the movie feels very heightened, where everything is kind of dialed up to 11.
Yeah.
Even just kind of the normal domestic stuff. Maybe that's why the forensics girl is so, like, just thirsty for that detective. Like, everything has to be dialed up to 1,000.
I guess I will say it is so funny that
Hi, detective.
that goes nowhere.
Absolutely nowhere. Yeah. I like it better that way.
Yeah.
Speaking of that detective, he shows up, and he's got a very hard to say name. So I'm going to try, and if I say it wrong, I'm very sorry. This is Detective Kakoa Shaw. Yeah, I believe that's it.
Yeah, that wasn't actually...
I wrote it a couple different ways. Yeah.
Peter, that's not that hard. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I just want to, I'm just covering my bases.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't, well, I was trying to figure out like where it's from or whatever. I mean, I don't know. It sounds Hawaiian to me, but it could be anywhere. But whatever it is, it's cool. It's a little odd. I was going to say he's the main character. I guess that's not true. He's like the main secondary character. He's the lead investigator on all of this. Mm-hmm. And he has no time for forensics girl. I've already forgotten her name. I'm sorry, forensics girl. But he doesn't care at all. But Sydney, wait, is her name Sydney Lake? Oh, that's right. Yeah, she introduces herself. So I wonder if is she married or something? Oh, no. I think that's their last name, but Madison lost it because she got married. And, she became Madison Mitchell.
Yeah.
So her sister comes to visit. Madison is super dour and skinny and looks like she's going to die. She looks like Morticia a little bit. But Sydney is like the exact opposite. She looks like Florence Pugh. She's like blonde and like, cute as a button. And like, she's like an actress and she's living this like sunny, happy life. And her sister is just such a giant bummer to her. I mean, not that it's her fault or anything, but it's very funny. that she keeps like coming by and being so sweet, and then Madison will just say something devastating, some new horrible turn of events. So Sydney has to explain to Madison how she miscarried her kid. Oh God. And then the detective walks in, you know, like on this horrible scene, and he's like, it's edited in such a way that his eyes just alight on Sydney. He's just like, oh wow, look at this lady.
Yeah.
Like, is this really the time, detective? So much has happened just now. Her husband is dead. Her baby's dead. I don't know. Maybe there's never a good time when you're like a murder detective. Is that a thing, by the way? Or are all detectives murder detectives?
Yeah.
No, there's got to be like a homicide unit, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, Peter, yes.
I guess if it's all blood and guts to you, maybe this is all just ho-hum. Yeah.
Yeah.
I only remember from LA Noire because you get promoted through various departments, and I believe there was a homicide department.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just like that, like from like the 1930s or whatever, in a video game made by Australians. Okay, so. Oh yeah, Detective Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
He says that there was 3 miscarriages in the last 2 years. I don't know if that's 4 in total or if he's counting the current one, but like it's almost horrible to ask. You're like, you know what, whatever. She's lost a bunch of babies.
Yeah,
it's been
I
unfortunate.
don't think the specific number matters too much.
Yeah, also it's a whole subplot that really shouldn't be in this movie. They're going to explain later why it's here. It shouldn't be here.
No.
But it is, yeah. So, yeah. So we're just going to make do, folks. Yeah, no, it's not a big deal. Well, no, it is a big deal. What I mean is it's not a big prominent issue, I guess you could say, in the film. It's just a real horrible thing off to the side. Like, oh, hey, by the way, everything you touch dies, Madison. There's no babies for you. Maybe you should adopt. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, like, you know, as you find out later, like, yeah, she probably shouldn't be having kids for various reasons. Probably not a good idea.
No, yeah. There's a lot of potential there.
As we will get into. So, yeah, the other detective lady, she says, there's no forced entry, an abusive husband, motive. And so there is. There's a lot of really strange music in this movie. And this is a good time to bring it up because this is the first time you hear, Madison Mitchell, she gets a very strange leitmotif. If you didn't know, that's basically like a little theme song for whenever someone enters a room or whatever.
Yeah.
It's got a real weird, like airy, like elegant Italian horror film kind of sound to it. Like it was in Suspiria or something, or a Giallo film.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of those good Italian horror films, you know? And the ones with nice dresses and bright colors.
God, there are a couple
and horrible, horrible murders.
There are a couple of just bizarre musical moments in this movie.
Yes, there are. Yes. And it is a bonus. I love it, but it is very strange. Because it goes from like sweeping operatic scores to crunchy synthy 80s retro nonsense.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yes. Yeah, like thumbs up for me. No, I love a good soundtrack, and I also love, well, I don't want to say a bad soundtrack, but, you know, a real weird one. And this is a real weird soundtrack. But, you know, like I listen to 80s synth just like on the side. Like, that's just one of my jams. So I'm all about this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so she goes home. I guess they allow her to go home. And evil her is out under the light post, you know, like menacing her. And she tries to lock up, and the doors just keep reopening themselves, which makes it unclear about, you know, like why even bother? I don't know. And like windows will open like silently without people noticing. Like either her or other people in the future also are bamboozled by just moving stuff in the room. And there's this great cool overhead shot where there's no roof, and you can see Madison running around in her house while she's being chased by this, you know, horrible black colorless version of herself. And that's when I wrote, they spent too much money on this film, maybe.
Yeah,
it's very creative and beautiful. Probably not necessary. You know, it's one of those, like, it's an extravagance, but it's great, but it meant that they had to create this whole set just to be able to do this shot where they're shooting straight down from above. I love it, but why? I mean, for this, I mean, I don't know. It's good. I don't want to. Like I said, I have strange feelings about this movie. It's like a sweet and sour sauce of like a weird mix of like and dislike. Where like I'm almost repelled, and then but then I get pulled back in. You know, just like it's like watching reality TV back in like the 90s when people used to actually do that. You're just like, I can't look away. I don't know. Maybe that's a slight disservice to this movie. This movie's better than a reality TV show. Oh. Although it is about the same level of substance.
I don't know about that.
Let's be real here. I mean, yeah, this is a very thin script. I mean, the characters barely make sense even in their own universe. There's no like verisimilitude here. I don't know. Like I said, she's a nurse, but she keeps not fixing her own head. And maybe, okay, well, there's ways of explaining that later. So maybe there is a thing, but I don't know. It just feels strange to me that like they make up rules and then they're like a little loose about it. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like even if you're a doctor or you're a nurse and you know better, like nobody wants to be going to the doctor for head bleeding.
That's a lot of head bleeding, though. Like, she wakes up and her pillow's just got, like, a little, like, dry puddle.
Yeah.
It's so gross. Maybe she just doesn't want to admit about, like, you know, the extent of the domestic abuse. He's like, yeah, he cracked my skull, but I just don't want to think about it. So she says, oh, it's all in my head. It's all in my head. And I'm like, yeah, probably literally, you know, because, you know, I've seen the dark half. So here's the thing. This is when I realized. Well, actually, I realized almost immediately. I was sad when I realized what was happening. Like, I wanted to not know for longer. But as soon as I realized it, I'm like, oh, that's what this movie's doing? Yeah, we'll get into that movie later. Because, you know, like for people who haven't seen that movie or this movie, this is you'll still be surprised later, you know? And nobody's seen The Dark Half. That's not a good movie. So don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
We'll talk about it later.
Terrible movie.
It's pretty bad. Timothy Hutton, you should be ashamed of yourself. No, I love that movie and I do rewatch it, but it's not good. It's actually very not good. Okay, so we get a fun retro synth thing for like the montages and then I think this is the part where Maddie tells Sydney that she's adopted and Sydney gives her like the most like my mind is blown face I've ever seen from anybody ever. Like she's just so floored by the fact that her weird sister, who doesn't look anything like her, doesn't act like her, doesn't talk like her, is adopted. She's like, oh my God. It's so bizarre. And then it just cuts to like an overview of Seattle and you see like the Space Needle, you know, just to remind people, because that's what you need. Every time you're in Seattle, you got to show the Space Needle to be like, hey man, come on. However, in fairness, the city is built in kind of a weird bowl shape, so everything actually does kind of face the Space Needle. Almost every building has a nice view of it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to escape, even if you wanted to. And this is when we bring in the boring tour of Underground Seattle. Have you ever done the Underground Seattle tour, Jacob?
Yeah. And yes, it is boring.
I did not, actually. Oh, so yeah, tell me about it, because I've never gone. I should, I guess.
I don't know, man. Like, you go around looking at, you know, pretty unsafe looking architecture while they give you a history lesson.
Well,
that is it. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I actually have the recording. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have, because, you know, like I said, this movie just came out, so maybe they'll be mad at me for doing this. But yeah, I have the recording of the lady describing the underground Seattle area. Let me see. Shit, if I can pull it up, because I have it all on these like color coordinated buttons, and if I push the wrong button, it'll be very embarrassing. So let's see.
I mean, like it's
okay. Here we go. I have little. No. Yeah. We'll see. Okay, yeah. So here we go. Here we go.
This is a tour of old Seattle, buried underneath here like a time capsule of a bygone era. All this used to be at street level where the people worked and lived, but after the Great Fire of 1889, they decided to rebuild the new city on top of the old city, 1 story higher to stave off flooding. You can still see the cobblestone streets and the storefronts down here, and there are rumors of passages stretching for miles.
And that's it.
Yeah, well, that comes up again.
No, they do go back there later.
Well, yeah.
I don't know why, but yeah, it's fun to see because this is the second movie I know of where they use a villain sneaking into the underground part of Seattle.
Mm.
It was also in the second Kolchak movie, the Night Strangler, where I think, I could be wrong, but it might have been Jack the Ripper, or it was some kind of like deathless person who was like hiding in the Seattle underground. It was like his secret evil lair. And apparently there are parts of it that are all bricked up and like semi-flooded and not safe. So it's actually possible that there could be some creepy parts where a bad guy could live and, you know, and have a lair, I suppose.
Sure. Peter, for a moment.
That is not the case in this movie, by the way.
No.
Yeah.
Kolchak was pretty fun. I was thinking about that recently.
Yeah, that was the dad from the Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just plays like kind of a grumpy detective who like deals with vampires and werewolves.
It's very...
And it's kind of a fun time.
Yeah, it's very silly, but I don't know. I liked it a lot.
It's a precursor to the X-Files. It's a very similar story structure.
Yeah,
where he will find a thing. He tries to tell everybody about it. Nobody believes him. And because they don't believe him, they allow him to continue to have his job. You know, like, I guess the world would kind of end if people ever believed, you know, that he was fighting vampires and stuff.
Yeah. Although, I don't know. I feel like most of the time, the stuff he dealt with was pretty low level, you know?
Yeah.
Which, it was sort of like...
I mean, he was basically like a sleazy paparazzi, but it was for the supernatural.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, I don't know, like, I think, like, the worst thing he dealt with was, like, a dog when it was, like, possessed by the devil or something like that. And it's like, well, okay, it's like Satan's involved, so that's pretty high stakes, but for the rest of the time, it was just, like, yeah, you just deal with, like, random vampires, or, like, you know, here's, like, a UFO. Ooh. Okay, yeah, alright. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter.
So, yeah. So, check it out, guys.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, the Seattle Underground tour lady, we find out later, I'm just going to say it now. This is Madison Mitchell's mom. She is the biological mother of Emily Lake, who later becomes Maddie. Wait, no, not Emily Lake. I don't know what this lady's name is. Emily something. And then she becomes Emily Lake, and then she becomes Maddie Lake, and then she becomes Maddie Mitchell. She has a bunch of name changes. So yeah. But this lady, she gave birth to a daughter. There were some unfortunate circumstances, and then she just rebuilt her life. And now she's doing underground Seattle tours where she's sort of sarcastic about like ghosts and stuff. What a recovery this woman's made. She seems in good cheer.
I mean, it seems fun.
Yeah. So she gets grabbed, and then she's just like, what do you want? And then the radio is just like, to show you what I've become, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like evil voices talking through radios when the evil thing is out and about.
Yeah.
The malignant force. And then we get we cut back to Maddie doing stuff, and we get this wispy 80s style tune on the radio. I approve. It's good stuff for long walks on strange nights.
Yeah.
I like a good dreamy 80s song, you know. If I was a smoker, I'd smoke at night to this song. If I was a vapor, I would vape to this song. If I was a glue sniffer, I would sniff glue to this song.
If I were to take horse paste, I would take it to this.
Yeah. So while doing laundry, Maddie gets an awful vision of Dr. Weaver's home being invaded. She like sees her like screaming through the other side of her open laundry machine door. I think it's the washer.
Mm-hmm.
And then she does that thing where like she falls over, she's terrified, and then the whole room changes around her. It's a real beautiful effect, and they do it like 5 or 6 times, and every time it's amazing. So like I'm glad that they keep doing it.
Oh yeah.
Where they do like a 360 view all the way around her, and while they're doing it, the whole room like melts and then reconstitutes itself into a totally different place. While it makes a real weird noise. So apparently the evil force, evil her, is in Dr. Florence Weaver's house. I don't know how the tory-eyed lady knew Weaver. Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, it's like, oh, I know right where she lives because we talked to each other years ago. Yeah, whatever, don't worry about it. Anyway, the evil force or whatever it is, it grabs a trophy that clearly has a dagger in it. Right off the bat, I'm just like, why would you make this weird dagger-shaped like trophy?
It looks cool.
It does look cool. It's got like a snaky thing around it, which later gets broken off, and it's got a wide marble base, which also gets broken off inside of Dr. Weaver's head because she gets knocked over and just bashed in. I was just thinking it was such a wasted opportunity at the time because it's like, well, you got this sharp part and then you just beat her to death with like the blunt end. Like, why would you bother? Yeah, but it turns out that the evil person, so I don't know if I want to use the name yet, but the evil force like uses the dagger. So I guess it's real fond of using this trophy. So it becomes like the distinctive murder weapon of the Malignant. The detectives say that she was a specialist. Dr. Weaver was a specialist in child reconstructive surgery, which almost makes it sound like they reconstructed entire children.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, they go check out her corpse, and they're like, oh, man, she was a tough old bird. She fought till the end, and nothing really comes of it because these detectives are boring, so I'm just going to kind of skip over that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
She really, really didn't want to die. That being said, this looks agonizing.
It did. It's pretty bloody. There's a lot of spray. It didn't look like it was a good clean end or anything.
No. Yeah.
And this is when I wrote, I am annoyed by all of these detectives. So once again, I just get increasingly annoyed with them as I go. I don't like the detectives. And I'm sorry, to the actors. It's more just their function in the movie, and I don't know. When you've seen enough of these movies, you know that they're probably not going to be very effective because if they were, the movie would be shorter.
Yeah.
So they have to kind of not be very good at their job in order for things to happen.
And boy, the cops in this movie are not effective.
Yeah, they really are not. So yeah. We get a Sam Raimi zoom on the trophy while it's being polished into a dagger. That's pretty groovy.
Yeah,
so I like it.
That whole bit. That's a good like music moment when the weapon is being
more montages.
Yeah, it's. James Wan seems to like montages of villains crafting their weapons because he did the same kind of thing in Aquaman.
Oh, did
he? Yeah. With a similarly
I watched that once.
Jarring song.
Yeah. So then we get to Silver Cup Apartments, some high-rise apartments. There's some fat old doctor guy in a high-rise. He's got a nice walk-in closet. It's like stormy outside, and the window opens by itself, but it opens like right next to him after he's turned his back. So it did it somehow silently, but it got water all over the floor. And then the lights in the walk-in closet go out, so then he walks in, and the door moves a little bit, but no one's actually in there, I think. I forget. So once again, I think it's a telekinesis thing where like things can just happen around people without them noticing.
Mm-hmm. He has spooky powers.
Yeah. He has spooky powers. And then Gabriel is like comes out and grabs the guy, and his theme is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, he's got his own little theme song.
Yeah.
Very, very intense.
I like it.
Maddie has visions of the upcoming murder. You know, every time one of these happens, she's able to see what's happening. And she's laying in bed and she wakes up and she's laying next to this guy, this weird old man that she's never met before. So she screams just because of that. Like, he hasn't even been murdered yet. She's already freaking out.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then this dark evil version of her in the weird leather suit. It's like a leather trench coat. Does like a weird like spider walk over the top of her, like from one side of the bed to the other to get on top of this guy, and then just like stabs him, and it looks so weird and wrong. Like, you can tell that something is way wrong. You know, if you weren't sure about what's happening in this movie, like, this is the part where you're like, wait a minute, that looks all wrong. That is not how humans move. You know, like in this weird like awkward backward looking stab, you know, there's like
Yeah. What do you think you are? Some kind of Slender Man?
Yeah. Sydney finds Maddie screaming in bed in the morning. She notices blood and does not check it out. Nobody look. The truth is too horrible to countenance. I'm starting to wonder if it's like a learned complacency where people, maybe they're so deep in a problem with Maddie that they just don't want to face up to whatever it is. They're just like, I don't know what's with you. You're just bleeding all over the place. I don't know. Like, what your deal is. I mean, you think? I don't
know.
Maybe. Because maybe they're just dumb. I mean, I don't want to have to just say it like that. It's possible they're all just stupid. But then Detective What's-His-Butt straight up is falling for Sydney mid-murder investigation. And I just wrote again, please just die already.
I don't know. I feel like he's the only one I really like as far as the cops.
Oh, you like him, huh?
He accomplishes some very silly stuff later on, which I have to respect.
That's true. He does try. He tries to try.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go. Sydney and Maddie go to the police station to tell them where a murder has happened that nobody knows about yet. So they're like, listen, we know a murder happened. We know it happened at the Silver Cup Apartments, and we want you to go check it out. And he's just like, how do you know this? Do you know the murderer? You know, and no one's like, maybe you are the murderer. Maybe we. Like, how do you know everything about all of the murders?
Yeah.
Like, even before anyone else does. Isn't that weird? But, you know, they don't know that at this point. They don't believe her, so they have to just follow her. And it's kind of implied that maybe they're going because he's sort of just crushing on Sydney and he just wants to humor her or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the other detective just, like, flat out says it. He's just like, you're only here because of her. And he's like, shut up.
I do kind of like his crush on her because it gives an excuse for this kind of thing.
I guess. I mean, it makes him seem less incompetent and more just like love struck, I suppose, you know, or passionate maybe is the word. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, they do an artist rendition of the murderer's face, and it just looks like a pile of meatloaf with like an evil grin. I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Wait, where the hell is this? So yeah, I just wrote, Maddie gets a call from herself. This must be really exhausting for her brain. I think this is when she's in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And it says she gets like a call on her iPhone from unknown. And she's like, she's like, my name is Madison Mitchell. And she's like, no, Mitchell is just a fake name given to you by your husband. Like, it's a real mean voice.
Yeah.
And then the voice tells her that her real name is Emily. She doesn't know this yet. And she's just like, who are you? And he's like, didn't you say that I'm only in your head? Wink, wink, everybody.
Little thing called foreshadowing.
Yeah. Oh, they drive past the Pike Place Market later. It makes an appearance.
Yeah.
The best place in Washington to get yourself pickpocketed.
That's true. And
but, you know, if you feel like yeah.
Also a great place to have fish thrown at you.
Yeah, that is the famous or infamous place where people just throw fish around. There's not really a reason to do that anymore, but it's just fun. So, you know, they like to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that area is legitimately not safe, but it is fun to go there.
Yeah. Yeah, they got Golden Age collectibles down in the bowels of the market.
Yeah.
You can go check out the shops. There's a little like magic shop place where you can get like Mexican jumping beans and stuff. Lots of tchotchkes and stuff.
Yeah, I did actually buy some Mexican jumping beans from there one time.
Oh, really? Wow.
I
almost did. But I found out there's little insects inside, and so I felt bad for them, and so I didn't buy any.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm sorry, they're gonna die anyway. You might as well entertain me.
I suppose that's true. Yeah,
I know that's
entertain me before.
Well, I'm
you
just
die.
saying. I mean, it's grim, but I mean, it's true.
It is true.
Better to give me some mild amusement than to just hop away in some store.
You die in a drawer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sydney and Maddie go to visit their adoptive mother, who gets a crazy zoom on her face when she hears the name Gabriel. Like, who's Gabriel? And she's like, whoop!
That was really good.
It's very good. I don't remember when they start saying the name Gabriel, but that is the bad guy in this.
Yeah.
It is an evil entity, connected to Madison somehow. It is Gabriel. And sometimes it's also referred to as the devil. I don't know why. Maybe just to be scary or it's something you can say in a trailer,
Yeah.
He's the devil.
Oh no, he's Gabriel.
So they go into the adoptive mother's house and they start watching home videos, and they're all just creepy as all get out.
Absurdly creepy.
They're so creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, where she's getting phone calls from herself, on a little kid phone, kill my unborn sister. I shouldn't do that. Why would I do that?
Hey.
Because it would feel good? I don't believe you.
These supremely tolerant parents.
They put up with quite a lot. Considering.
I'm sorry, if I had a biological child that was acting that weird, I would be like, we need to discuss some options here, because I don't know if I can be dealing with this.
Yeah, I mean, like they said in the trailer, I mean, the mom is just like, well, listen, we know you came from something real terrible, and we know how badly it hurt you, and we just were hoping that we could, we could make your life meaningful, help you rebuild.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't know. It's nice.
No, I mean, that is the ideal, is to
that's what
give
you want.
give a traumatized kid an absurdly understanding home.
Yeah. So we go back to Detective Shaw. He pulls up old psych files in a box, and they're in a bunch of flash drives. And I was so annoyed because I wanted it to be floppy disks, and then he would have to try to figure out how to use it.
Yeah.
What the hell even are these things? It's from the 90s. It would totally be floppy disks. I mean, unless they were updated recently.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. And also, God, for the longest time, I had an external drive that could use floppies.
Huh.
It was just because I had you could burn CDs too, and it just sort of as a side benefit.
Yeah.
But,
play real old ass tech.
you never know.
Okay, so apparently there was 3 doctors who helped Maddie get over, her difficulties.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are already dead. There's, the fat old guy from Silver Cup Apartments, forgotten his name. And then there was Dr. Florence Weaver. She was kind of in charge. And then there's this 3rd guy, Dr. John Gregory. Kind of a weird looking dude.
I was gonna say, he does look like a public figure of some infamy. A certain Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, for a second I thought you were going to say Dr. Mengele or something.
No, he
Oh my God.
No, but it is actually kind of distracting how much the guy does look like Jeffrey Epstein. Very unfortunate.
Huh. That is unfortunate. I did not make that connection.
I mean, I guess I'm more into the conspiracy side of the internet. So I'm
yeah,
I know about these kind of things.
So I didn't write a lot of this part, so I might be missing some details. I believe the Dr. John Gregory is stabbed to death in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Detective Kakoa was going to try to stop it, and he chases Gabriel out the side of like a fire escape.
Yes.
And it just looks so ridiculous.
This whole scene is so good.
Yeah. It's wonderful. And it really foreshadows how the entire rest of the movie's going to be. They're like, listen,
Yeah.
if you thought this was going to be serious, we have got a scene for you guys. Because, yeah, this is real weird. Watching someone running, like, backwards and all weirdly, you know, and just fumbling around.
Yeah, shoot, what does he do? He jumps off. What does he land on? But it, like...
A dumpster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that looks like that would hurt so much.
Yeah, he looks like he broke ribs.
Yeah,
So he didn't have far enough down to go, so he's just like, oh, I guess I'll just drop the rest of the way.
Aim for the bushes.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like, that's so much better thinking about the fact that he's, like, running faster and longer than I think I have ever run in my entire life with his, like, broken ribs.
Yeah. At least some bruises, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually would have loved it if that scene had, like, stopped for a moment where, like, he rolls off the dumpster and then he's just laying in the street. He's just like, oh!
To the Family Guy, like... Ah!
Yeah. Oh. Or like he just never gets up and like you see him later on just getting led away by like, you know, an ambulance. Like, oh my God.
Oh God, that seems so much cooler in my head.
Yeah. I thought that was going to go so much better. I mean, he manages to chase Gabriel all the way down into the Seattle Underground, where they go into like a secret part. Like they break open a hole into a room with like a bunch of old fancy carriages from 1889, and they fight for a while, and then and then Gabriel gets away. So they might as well have just had the detective get really hurt in that street scene. I mean, it doesn't go any further than that anyway.
No, I also like that. I think there were like 2 or 3 different times during the chase where I'm like, oh, he's losing him here. He's never going to figure out that like Gabriel like knocked out some like bricks in the wall, and it's like he's just like, nope, I know exactly where you're going. Like
he actually is. He's not a great detective, but he is a great runner and tracker. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this is when I wrote, I want Gabriel to live and be in someone else's movie. I just had so much fun, with his long, greasy black hair and the ridiculous trench coat and the weird spider walking.
Yeah.
Just like, I love this guy.
Yeah, maybe okay.
So that's the end of that scene.
Okay, we'll save it.
Oh wait,
you got me thinking about something. We'll discuss it at the end, but I feel like he would work well with another kind of forgotten villain character that never got their.
Well, I mean, dare I say it? I want kind of a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type situation. I want a bunch of like weirdos working together to do something.
Shoot, wait, what is that name? What's that movie? Hold on. Brightburn.
Oh, wait, the evil super kid?
Yeah! I don't know, man. I mean,
yeah.
He
gets evil voices from aliens to tell him to kill everybody.
Well, I mean, we'll
kill your family.
We'll get to it, but I mean, like, he gets pretty super towards the end.
That's true, actually. Yeah, he's got some crazy powers. Totally unexplained and totally awesome. That's fine. It's fine with me.
Okay, first of all, they shouldn't explain it because any kind of explanation is going to be stupid.
Yes.
Absolutely. That is something I really appreciate about this movie is that when they do explain something, it is always nuts. And then when the explanation can only be something stupid and boring, they just don't bother. Which is like,
yes, to its credit.
Yeah, which is like
this movie is stupid in a calculated way, in a good way.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so next scene they get a hypnotherapist to mess with Maddie, which this is going to be a train wreck. Like, why are we doing this? But whatever. They want to dig up her first 8 years of memory because she was adopted when she was 8. She has absolutely no memories of what came before.
Yeah.
Which is, honestly, that is pretty unsettling. Just thinking of that, like what happened before was so horrible that she just blocked it all out. And just like, all right, and then finally I was free of all that. Like, that's what, like, her last memory is, like, feeling relief. Like, that's super spooky.
Yeah, that is.
Like, I'm glad that's over. So, yeah, we get this crazy flashback of Emily/Maddie. She gets, like, psychic phone calls on a twinkly kid phone that plays Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
Yeah.
Merrily, 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 life was but a dream. And it gives her, like, advice to go slice a piece of cake for her. Wait, is it for her or for some?
It's for her.
Who is it for?
It's for her.
It's somebody's birthday cake.
Well, yeah, but like,
she's gonna like slice.
But yeah, like the idea was like she's taking it for herself.
Well, I thought she did. Well, she gets a phone call from, from herself. Let's be real here, and it's just like, you'll be so happy. It's a good surprise if you cut this cake, and so she goes out there, and it just gets to this point where, like, she thinks she's about to cut the cake, and then it just morphs all around her, and it becomes her pregnant, adoptive mother with her knife over it. It's just like, oh my God. Speaking of which, I have that audio cue too. So let's do it, Jacob.
Yeah, let's absolutely get this video demonetized.
Yes, let's copyright claims. 3, 2, 1, go.
Activate.
I just realized you probably couldn't hear like half of that. But
I heard.
It's just that weird morphing sound.
Yeah, I heard the important parts.
Yeah. That's like my favorite part of this movie is just like the weird ominous voices. The slice of cake.
Yeah.
Slice of cake.
I will say this. Gabriel is so fun.
He's a good time as an evil thing. And he is an evil thing. He's not a person. He's a thing.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's been such a long time since I've seen like a recent horror movie that isn't directly derived off of something else. It has kind of like an iconic like weirdo who's like he's a little silly,
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is.
Like in that sort of like vein of like an iconic like horror character who's like, yeah, he's like a little wacky and he's got like crazy powers. I don't know. It was refreshing. It's nice.
Yeah. So she freaks out while she's doing the hypnotherapy session after remembering this, and she wakes up. And she's like, Gabriel did it. And the detectives are like, you're saying your imaginary friend did this.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting so mad at them because once again, they've established that Maddie knows everything. She was at or near each of these situations. She has a history of mental issues, and you still don't consider her a suspect, or like you haven't arrested her or anything. Like, you guys must be the worst cops in the world, man.
I guess like to be fair, at least like the first murder, that legitimately just doesn't seem like something that she was like physically capable of doing.
Yeah, maybe not. And it's funny because they probably wouldn't have considered her a suspect ever if the Seattle Underground tour guide lady hadn't just broken through the roof and just falls into the living room right next to them. Like right then and there. Right in front of the hypnotherapist and everything.
Oh my god, talk about bad timing.
So yeah, she was tied up in the attic. I mean, we didn't know whose attic it was, but they showed scenes earlier where, you know, she's interacting occasionally with Gabriel, who like has taken her hostage. And she finally gets free and just collapses through like the whole house and just lands right next to these people. It's like the movie is like, oh, listen, we know these cops are dumb, so we're gonna make it so they have to finally just consider that Maddie might be the killer. You know, we'll have the kidnapped woman collapse right through her house, like right in front of them.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like in a role playing game when like the DM just gets really frustrated because the group just like is not getting all the plot points together, you know, and moving the story forward.
Yeah.
So like, okay, fine, this happens. Now you unambiguously have to go forward with this.
Instead of debating, I'm just gonna have the Overlord of Dragons land in the middle of court.
Yeah.
I've come to steal the crystal you don't believe exists, you know, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, it's real. You have to deal with this now. God damn it, we've wasted half a session on this.
Yeah. Jacob and I are both old D&D veterans, so.
Yeah.
Just another, add that to another, like, you know, check on our nerdy list.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If anyone's keeping count.
Yeah. Call ourselves dungeon heads. That's a term that they use.
Did we have a term? I don't know if we had one.
I don't know, like nerd?
Dungeon heads.
No,
Jesus
that's,
Christ.
yeah, okay, that is, I'm sorry, we shouldn't.
Nerd means you know something. I think geek is better because it's like enthusiasm without skill.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. Yeah, I mean, geek is good because it's geek. Like, that's also like, prison, or like, term, that's like circus sideshow slang too.
Yeah, for like the guy who eats like chicken heads.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
mean that's a good summation of people who were like into D&D.
Yeah. So Maddie is forced to be accused, and so she is.
Yeah.
And I actually have a cue for that one as well. I don't know if this one's necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's get to all of them. So here we go.
It was Gabriel. He got into my house. He's done it before.
Enough with the boogeyman story.
Please, Kakoa. Please, you've seen him. You know that it's not me.
Who is the woman, Madison?
I don't know. Gabriel must have snuck her into my house.
Yeah, so that's, you know, they finally start to question her. And I'm glad for them, but also I'm a little annoyed because nobody knows yet that this is Madison's mother, like biological mother. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't have a reason to know that, but it's, yeah. Things wrap up quite neatly in this movie. Like all the people you want are already amongst you, you know, just like they just fell into your lap.
Yeah.
Oh man, if only we knew the biological mother. Oh, she's right here. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, that is weird too, because like for such a wacky movie, it is pretty compact in a lot of ways.
Yeah, there are a lot of loose ends, but they're at least closely associated with one another.
Yeah, yeah.
They're stacked neatly. I forget why, but Sydney goes to investigate the simian research facility. That it was hard for me to say that. I'm sorry. I think she's looking for evidence of who. Maybe this is how they figure out who the mom is. They're going to get files, and as far as I know, Sydney doesn't really encounter any troubles. She just goes and digs stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she reads that file that says there was absorption in utero growing with patient. Oh my God. It's all coming together, Jacob. Oh man, to live that life where you could be a person who had gotten this far in the movie and to have your mind blown when the movie seems to think you should, like, I wish I could be that dumb and incurious where you're just like, oh my God, it's the same person.
Yeah. I mean, that's funny because, like, I started the movie under the assumption that was the case.
Oh, see, I didn't know, but I heard something ambiguous online. There was little tidbits that were hinting at it, and so, like, I had, like, a suspicion, But yeah, I actually found out right away, and I was mad at myself for figuring it out.
Well, so like I guess like originally I thought the twist was going to be that, yeah. So she has this like psychic nonsense haunting her, but then all the outside stuff would have been Gabriel was just another person who had the same thing going on.
Yeah. I thought maybe they were from the same psych ward. Or
Yeah.
Maybe, it was a demon.
Yeah, I
something.
legitimately thought the twist was going to be just that it was another person who was dealing with the same thing that she was. And
it could have been that.
And boy, am I glad I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, seriously. This is so much more ridiculous and crazy. This is Crazy Town, folks. This is real Crazy Town.
Yes.
And I think part of it also, this movie was partially ruined for me because I've seen The Dark Half many times, and I've thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
About that horrible scene in that movie where the boy is like playing football or something, and he just collapses outside of his, like out in the front yard, and they have surgery on his brain, and a horrible sightless eye opens up. It's like, wah! And it's got like teeth and stuff in there.
I sometimes
Ugh.
Peter, do you ever think about that? Like the idea that you can have just like some gross stuff like that inside of you and just like not know it,
No, and I think it's awesome. I have heard also that people will get that from tumorous growths, like when they grow really big, because some of the cells will assign to different things. So, yeah, like you'll get like weird things like in. Yeah, well, I guess that is what they call it in this as well.
Yeah,
I don't think it's fair to call Gabriel a teratoma. He's not.
No, he's really not.
He is another person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like a teratoma.
He's got his own little spine.
Yeah, I mean, like
yeah, like he's not a random thing.
No. I mean, yeah, like a teratoma is like, I mean, like hey, people out here listen to this. Theoretically, you can have a giant sack of teeth and hair inside of you and just like not know about it.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's not gonna like.
Hell yeah, you might.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna hurt you, but you just have it,
It's a little piece of that twin or whatever that you never got to meet.
Sure. Yeah.
Living with you forever.
I mean, or just cells they're going nuts. I don't know.
It's one or the other. Or if it's that Manitou movie, it's the soul of a Native American messiah who's coming back in your back.
Yeah. Okay, wait.
So yeah, that's what happens in that movie.
I love that movie. Also, did I make you watch that, or did you make me watch that?
You made me watch that.
Oh, okay.
Jacob recommended this dreadful 70s movie.
Whatever. It was.
I did do a passing thought about it in some episode, so I do discuss it very briefly. That I watched it the other day.
Yeah.
It is very ridiculous, in the vein of this kind of a movie. It's like I don't think that they were thinking of the Manitou when they made Malignant, but it is very much in the same kind of vein. It is very similar. In just how ridiculous it is.
I mean, I think that's something I like about this movie so much is that like it feels like such an old school idea, like remade.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. I actually found, I knew that I'd seen this story before. I'm like, I have seen this. I've seen this.
Oh, sure.
Because, you can't forget the time you saw a person's face on one side of their head and then another face on the other side of their head.
Yeah.
There's only been a few times in like movie history. Well, first of all, Harry Potter, Professor Quirrell. He's got that. But actually,
there's also a Japanese spirit, and I can't remember. Rakurokubi, I think.
Oh.
There's like a lady spirit in like Japanese folklore that has a face on the back of her. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay, so yeah, the thing I found, which is this is so similar, it might actually be potential lawsuit territory. I hope they don't do that. But okay, so season 7, episode 10 of Tales from the Crypt in 1996 debuted an episode called About Face. And it's about a girl who, like, well, they think it's twins. So there's this pastor who had an illicit child, but he's wealthy. So this girl shows up. There's this beautiful girl named Angelica. And then she has a sister who is crazy and has a deformed face, and her name is Lee. And the pastor, like, kind of just putting up with them. Like, but he wants to keep Angelica because he can make use of her. But, the ugly one with the scarred face, he doesn't want anything to do with her. She's also kind of insane and has these weird prophecies, and she calls everyone a sinner, and she's kind of murderous. So, I mean, very similar to this. And then it's revealed later that it was a deformed child, and, like, hidden behind her hair is this other face. So she's got the same face twice on either side of her head, but one side is all scarred up and the other side isn't. So yeah, it's almost the same story.
Also, okay, I looked it up. The thing I was thinking of is called Futakuchi Onna, the Two-Mouthed Woman. It's a woman who appears to have a completely normal face, where one would expect a face to be, and then on the back of the head, the skull splits apart, forming lips, teeth, and a tongue.
Ah. That sounds horrible.
I don't know what is it with, like, Japanese folklore and, like, having spirits that are, like, literally just women but awful.
Yeah. I don't know. I like it, though. We should do one of those movies at some point. I was thinking maybe at some point we could do the slit mouth woman
yes.
or whatever that's called.
I want to do that one. I was, like, thinking about that.
That's a good movie, actually. I like that.
I do too. Also, that story is very creepy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And it's based on a real event, and by real I mean reported.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Also,
where people were scared of a thing that probably wasn't real. Yeah.
I mean, real enough to make a movie out of. Hey, we're back.
Okay.
I got it. Well, I mean,
we are back.
Yeah, we gotta mention the fact that I also have a dog with me now.
Yeah, after a short break, Jacob brought his dog Clover in. So, depending on whether or not I'm cool about this, like, some of the audio may or may not survive of her little doggy claws clattering around on the floor.
Also, just, like, I have to, like, keep readjusting because she keeps leaning up against my chair and, like, shifting my position.
Oh boy.
No. Hey, she's sweet. She's just a weird dog.
Who's the pet and who's the master, Jacob? When we last left off, Sydney had just figured out that Gabriel is a real thing and it's attached to his adoptive sister.
Yeah.
I wish I was surprised. I mean, are we supposed to be? I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't think the movie expects you to be surprised, but you might be. It would be interesting if you were at this point.
That reveal, though, it's very good.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts because they start showing flashback videos. First they show Serena May. Oh, that was her last name, May. Maddie's birth mother, the Seattle Underground tour guide who just recently emerged from the attic. She, she was giving up her baby because it was a result of a rape, I guess. And they don't explain who it was, I don't think. But she says that it was the result of the devil. Like, she had a very religious family that wouldn't put up with it, with any of the outrage, I guess. Granted, once you see this baby, or at least this kid,
oh god, yeah,
I could kind of see where they might see that there's something horrible going on here.
I mean, frankly,
because they finally show
kind of a miracle she made it this far.
You see, yeah, really. So Emily May, she's like, they're talking to her, in a scene where you see only her front, and they said like, oh, we've got Gabriel doped up so we can just talk to you. And they're, you know, and they have a fairly normal conversation. And then they're like, okay, now we're going to wake up Gabriel. So, you know, just hold on. And they pan around back, and it's like a horrible little withered mummy monster man with like a horrible face. It's like stretched flesh and like little velociraptor arms. No, yes. T-Rex arms. They're just like,
oh, yeah. Okay. When you saw this scene for the first time, did you emit an audible hell yes? Because I did.
I gasped and then laughed. That was my order of things.
Okay. Because like
I was so pleased with the movie, just the madness of it. I'm just like,
I was like,
they did it. They really did it.
I know. I mean, like it's so funny to be like this tickled by one scene in a movie, but I was just like,
yeah,
I was like, they can do this in horror movies in you know past the 80s. This
it's been a while.
It has. It was just like good things can really happen to you if you wait long enough.
Well, okay. One way I was thinking of it was that we don't usually make light of ableism anymore, where we're gonna like think someone's evil because they were born inside of another person or whatever. But that's what this movie's doing.
No, he's not evil because he was born inside of another person. He's like evil because he like loves killing.
Yeah. He seems like he's really fond of killing.
That's the thing.
Even before all that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, I guess you could first, okay, I'm sorry, but like, it is hard to make a character like this sympathetic because he is very gross.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I mean, he starts out evil. Like, you're not supposed to like sympathize with him, but you're also not supposed to like. I don't know. I don't think it's like I don't think this movie is like a treatise against conjoined people or whatever. It's just like it's a monster man.
They said he was getting his autonomy. He was winning the battle. Like he was taking too much nutrients from Emily.
Yeah.
Madison. And so they just decide to end his life, essentially, or at least most of it, so that, they cut out his weird little spine ribcage thing that was kind of over hers.
Yeah.
And they cut off his little T-Rex arms and most of his face. And then they're like, well, listen, we can't take this all out because it's attached to her brain. So we're just going to push it into her skull and just cover it up.
Yes.
I love it. God, and they don't disable the eye. So it's still like looking around while they push it into her brain.
Yes.
It's just like, just get in there. Get in there. Urgh.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize is that she has a retractable door on the back of her head. Like the bones retract and recede and come and close again, like on command, I guess.
Well, okay. We gotta save that for maybe the best scene in the movie.
Sorry, yeah, I didn't mean to give it away, but we are right about at that part because they finally arrested Maddie and they stick her in a jail cell with like 30 women, like a lot of women.
Yes.
And like half of them are weird cartoonish stereotypes and like one lady is from the 70s. Well,
yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it's not just a prison, it's a time prison with people from...
it's like people from throughout history.
Like, if I went back and I saw that there was, like, a Cro-Magnon criminal in there, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, or, like,
that checks out. Yeah, in this jail cell.
Yeah, sort of like some, like, woman with, like, a Roman legionnaire armor. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. This, like, that tracks with this scene.
It was the Prophet of Delphi. She's right over there. Yeah, they have this African American lady. She's in yellow bell bottoms and like a ridiculous afro and gold jewelry of some sort, I think.
Yeah, well, okay. I'll say this.
What is she doing there?
Well, yeah, okay. I'll say this. I have seen. I mean, like I don't like the afro isn't like super popular, but I mean, like, you know, women still wear their hair that way. I don't know where the hell you get bell bottoms.
I don't know. Maybe she's from a festival or something. Maybe there's a whole backstory about why she's there.
It's like, it is bizarre. And then there's like the female Tiger King lady.
Yeah. With like the mullet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it is delightful. Also, the Latina gangster lady is another delight. Yes, she looks like a gangster goon from from like a barrio or something. No, yeah. If you told me that she played a role in The Warriors, I would believe you. It is a ridiculous motley crew of lady criminals. And it's awesome. It's maybe one of the best things about the whole movie. Yes. It's just this room of women. Okay. Whose idea was this? I don't know. That's something. Well, I was thinking about that for the whole movie. I'm just like, what are we doing here? I mean, yeah. What even is this? Well, this one's fun because, there's obviously, a lot of wacky stuff that, the studio just kind of, left up to James Wan because he makes them a bunch of money. But, there's, stuff like this where it's, so many people had to see this weird scene. You know? So, for some reason, some unexplained reason, the Tiger King lady, or however you described her, and the Afro lady just decide to pick a fight with poor Madison. And I don't remember her saying or doing anything. They're just like, "Oh, you look so weak and fragile. What are you in for? You know, just like crossing the street without permission," or I forget what they say, but something ridiculous. Yeah. And they nearly beat her to death. They're kicking in her stomach and stuff until blood's coming out of her mouth. Yeah. They're really pushing it. It's weird. And and this is happening as they're revealing, that Gabriel is real and is a real thing, Yeah. And you're getting exposition from doctors, and they're like, yeah, they share a same brain, and when Maddie thinks she's at home doing stuff, she's actually been given that vision by Gabriel while he's out doing his murder work, basically. Mm-hmm. And so, it's just a big exposition dump. It's explaining the stuff that you might have been curious about. I thought it was unnecessary. You probably could have just picked up the pieces yourself at this point. They share the same brain. He could have just been diluting her. Yeah. Yeah, I will say, with what comes next, it would be so much funnier if they just didn't explain any of that. So it would be just such a, what the fuck? If there was no explanation at all. Yeah. Yeah. I almost would have preferred that. If there was less evidence for the whole movie, and then it comes to this scene. Yeah, it's no, yeah, where she's just pushed to the edge, yeah. And it's look at what's in the back of my head. Yeah. So, so she starts to flip out, and, and they think she's having a seizure, and she just pulls apart the back of her head, just peels it back, and it opens like a trapdoor, and and the meatloaf face with a toothy mouth and an eyeball just come out, and they move a lot. You think she'd be able to feel her own brain moving around, with muscle stuff in there. Yeah, but whatever. It's neither here nor there. Everyone flips out, and then she just she dislocates both of her shoulders so that her arms can move more freely backwards. Yeah. And then Gabriel takes over her body, and she just kills everybody. She kills John so many people. This whole, the whole prison. It is nuts. Yeah, I have a brief clip from that as well. So I'm going to play that. Dude, go for it. Dude, go for it. I'm a fan.
think you could hear any of that. But
no, but
yeah, it was just the sounds of pulpy bones breaking and women screaming. So yeah.
I mean,
and that crazy like bassy guitar riff thing, like
no, okay. That is actually something I love about it. Is that like at a certain point the soundtrack just becomes like, oh, this is just Hotline Miami.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, forget about these pretensions of like a glorious soundtrack. We're just gonna like just get some real intense crap going on here, some neon lights and palm trees.
It's like, I'm sorry, it's like this is still ostensibly a horror movie, but like, I mean, I guess, but it's like it goes so nuts.
It really does.
I mean, like,
she like tears out a woman's throat. She steps on a head.
Yes.
She breaks bones just out of people's arms like freely.
Yes.
Like it's just a murder machine just plowing through these women.
Yeah.
Yeah, she kills everybody. Then she kills the cop who tries to help. She steals the keys. She gets out.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess he steps out and whatever. He's hijacked her body. But yeah, this is Gabriel running the show now. So he goes right over to the forensics lab where the cute, thirsty forensics girl is just hanging out, going through boxes. And she has to go hide while Gabriel comes in and steals back the black leather trench coat and the horrible stabby dagger weapon thing.
Yeah. I will say this.
Gabriel just loves that thing.
I was briefly afraid because I didn't want the thirsty girl to die. I thought she was fun.
No, yeah, I didn't either. I actually wrote cute, thirsty forensics girl is about to die, and I was sad.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't need to die.
Feels.
I don't know why I care about this character.
That is weird because there's nothing to her but the fact that she wants to get laid by this guy. But
absolutely nothing.
No, I know.
Yeah, there's no story or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I like weirdo forensic girls in shows and movies.
Sure.
I mean, it's like a common enough trope. NCIS.
Yeah.
They have the.
Yeah, that poor goth girl who's marked for life. Or was that Jag? I could be getting them mixed up. I'm sorry.
Maybe there was one on Jag. There was definitely one on NCIS, which
I you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I have to briefly look it up.
Okay, which also why the hell did I watch so much of the NCIS? I don't care that much
because that goth girl was in it.
I get, yeah, that's seems really pathetic in hindsight because it's like I don't care that much about Navy crimes.
Oh, that's why I thought it was Jag, because I thought that was the only Navy or military show. No, you're right. It was NCIS I was thinking of. Yeah. There's more than one.
Damn right.
So her name is Polly Perrette. 354 episodes. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that's just the episodes she did. So, that's like a full year's worth of episodes.
Oh, yeah.
One for every day. Well, almost.
Also, okay, I guess I'm also, looking at this too. She is still playing the quirky goth girl in her, 50s.
Really?
I think... I guess... Well, I mean... Oh, yeah, I guess she would have been 50 when they were at the last season. Jesus.
Amazing.
Yeah, alright.
I mean, actually.
Yeah, honestly.
At least they didn't age her out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Remember in The Price is Right when Bob Barker would, get rid of his lovely ladies who would help him in the show? Every couple of years he would get new ones. Yeah. I always felt so bad for those women.
No, I mean, I don't know,
Vanna White had the right idea. She was turning over letters for decades. I mean, she's still doing it.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
That's the way to be.
She's still cute. I don't know. Whatever.
Sure. I mean, yeah, whatever. To each his own. No, a lot of people love that goth girl. I don't know why that was a thing, but it was. It was definitely a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I can't defend that.
I think it's like a dearth of representation in cinema and film. There's just not a lot of black lipstick, tattooy girls on TV for anything.
But that's the thing,
there's just a few.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that, like, on those kind of, like, investigative shows, though, there are a whole lot of, like, kind of, like, the quirky, like, I work in the morgue, or, like, I'm a tech girl kind of a thing. Like Law and Order does that, too.
Sure.
I don't know why that's the thing.
My favorite is the one, the lady from the first Men in Black. Oh, man, I love that part where she's just like, you know what I like to do here when I'm all alone? And he's just like, no. Like, no, I don't want to know what you do in the morgue late at night.
I don't remember that.
You know what? Look it up. It's good character, good scene. And they introduce her as a character, and then in the second movie, they're like, oh, she couldn't hack it, so she quit. Like, they just, like, assassinate her character, like, off screen.
That's a shame.
Yeah, no. And I forget the lady's name, but, like, she was great. Apologies.
Yeah.
To that lady.
Anyway. We're gonna get into, like, a deep rabbit hole if I would go into, like, the Men in Black cartoons. So let's, like, back off.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we can't get into that morass. So Gabriel gets his stuff. Yeah, and I just wrote, love that leather trench coat because it's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
It's really unnerving seeing Annabelle Wallace's face like CGI mapped onto the back of the head of the person doing all of the stunts, like killing everybody and like pretending to do it all backwards. It is very off-putting.
Yeah.
In a way that is really hard to articulate.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's like, I wouldn't even say it's like a bad effect. It's just creepy.
It's real weird. And yeah, so Gabriel, he just manages to wipe out the entire police department while just doing like Matrix style flips, over desks and stuff.
I mean, like
somersaults and hand, the whole thing.
Yeah, someone listening to this might think that we're like exaggerating on the Matrix like comparison. No, we're gonna go watch the scene. Like pause the video.
Go watch the movie. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. First of all, watch the movie, but like watch that scene. It's the Matrix. Gabriel is like has Matrix powers.
All right. So for the entire rest of the movie, I only have like 3 lines left in my notes. Because this does wrap up real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wrote, oh hey, forensics girl lived. Gabriel goes to the hospital to kill the real mom, his biological mother.
Mm-hmm.
He blows up a pacemaker on a guard. Like, real unnecessary death there, fella, but also pretty cool.
It's like, yeah.
Pretty creative.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the guy would have put up much of a struggle. He probably could have just done without murdering that guy, but...
It's a cool idea.
You, Gabriel. You're pretty evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Gabriel is going to go kill the mom. Cindy tries to stop him. So Gabriel throws a big, heavy, like, bed, like, I think it's an empty bed, like, at her and, like, pins her down. And he's going to kill her. And Maddie's just watching, like, just like in these previous instances when she sees these visions, she feels helpless to intervene. And she's standing by, like as if she's in a nightmare. And then Cindy's like, I know you're in there, Maddie, because you totally are, and you're conscious and stuff. And so Cindy's voice is able to kind of like wake her up. But even when she's awake, she still like doesn't have the willpower to do anything until all that foreshadowing from the beginning pays off because Cindy says, Gabriel has been feeding off of your children. You miscarried all of your babies because of Gabriel. Oh God. I mean, like, yeah, just let that settle in for a moment. Just marinate on that for a minute.
Yeah, God.
Ugh. First of all, how? How? But second of all, why? Why is this in the movie?
Yeah.
Just to give her like a real strong reason to be mad?
I guess, yeah. That feels weird because Gabriel clearly wakes up because of the violent trauma to the back of her head. So it's sort of like, what was that doing? You know what I mean? Like, what was the purpose of feeding on the fetuses, you know?
Oh, just to slowly rebuild over time, I guess.
I guess.
But I mean,
but then,
you know, her reproductive organs aren't connected to him, you know?
Well, yeah, but they woke up anyway, so, like, what was the point of... I don't know, that feels very needless.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say I disapprove. Well, I mean, everyone disapproves of that, but what it's more that I don't know. It seems like maybe almost an undeveloped idea that was going to be more prominent in a much sadder movie that I would not want to see.
Yeah.
You know, if that was the main focus, like in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, the Dream Child, I think it is, where like Freddy is like putting the souls of dead teenagers into the baby of the Dream Master girl to try to like corrupt the baby into becoming a new Freddy for him, or a new vessel for his evil spirit. I mean, that movie sucked because that was the main idea, you know, like that's not a great angle. It's weird and it's gross.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
I mean, it does anger her enough that Maddie like manifests her control and she's able to take, you know, the power back. And, you know, and there's this horrible scene where Gabriel kills Sydney, just blows her brains out, and then smothers the mom. And she's like, I've done it. I've done my evil things. And then, you know, and then he hears like a voice in his head and he's just like, oh, well, you're in a prison of my making. I don't remember exactly what she says. But anyway, Maddie's got him in an illusion, you know, and actually she's taken control of his body the way that he's done to her. So basically, like, just in the matter of these seconds, she's like learned every trick that he's ever done to her over the years and can reverse it. And, you know, I know that's really contrived and stupid, but it's also like beautiful. I love like how convenient and ridiculous, like that she's just like, and now I can do all of these things. I've done the Uno reverse card, and now I can do those things to you that you did to me.
I mean, I like it,
and that's kind of just it.
Well, because we get some like the movie has like a bit of it. I think this is like probably the strongest like psychic nonsense we get in the movie. Yeah.
It's like that scene in Fight Club where, like, you know, Tyler Durden takes the control back from Tyler Durden. I mean, I think they're both named Tyler Durden, but it's not clear.
Yeah, I
Edward Norton takes it back from Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I only remember that movie from the video game tie-in.
Oh, really?
No.
Wow, that's even more obscure than the movie.
No, I'm kidding. That's...
Oh, good. Thank God. Dear Lord. You know what? I was willing to believe that was true. I didn't want it to be, though.
Yeah. I just never watched Fight Club. I did love the video game.
Also, it happened in the Stephen King movie Dreamcatcher, where he has like a psychic battle with an alien for control of his body and mind, and he eventually imprisons the alien and takes control of his mind back.
Peter,
that was not a very good book, and it was not a very good movie.
To be clear, that was the book with the aliens called Shit Weasels, right?
Yeah, that is the book that Stephen King's wife calls the one with the shit weasels in it. And I feel like that is a good way to just summarize that whole book. That is the worst book of his I've ever read. I absolutely hated that book.
Yeah. I mean, that one feels
apparently he wrote the whole thing when he was sick, or it might have been after he got hit by the van and was really hurt. So he was doing it on pain meds laying in a hospital bed, and I feel like you can really feel that in the story, that like it's all very painful and poorly thought out and stuff.
That one's weird because it feels like the kind of thing you would write if you were trying to write a completely self-serious parody of Stephen King stories. Yeah. You know, where it's like you're not cracking fun, but you're like, let's do the most absurd Stephen King thing. That would be that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Peter does not recommend Dreamcatcher. Don't watch that. It's not good. The movie's bad. The book is bad.
Yeah, stay tuned for our Dreamcatcher episode.
You know, like I said, yeah, we still haven't gotten an episode of this where I've really hated the movie. That could be a contender for something I would really, really just hate.
We'll see.
We'll see. So yeah, so Maddie takes control back and puts Gabriel in brain prison. It's like literally jail bars that he's just like shaking his fist from.
I know that I love.
I'll get you, Gadget, one day.
Like, because like there were so many less dumb ways to show that, but I really appreciate that they went with the bars.
Yeah, and you know, then Maddie needs to go help her adoptive sister.
Yeah.
Sydney. And Sydney's trapped beneath the bed, and she's like, "Oh, you can't lift it." And Maddie's like, "Hey, listen, if Gabriel has mega strength, then I have mega strength." And she does. And it's amazing. She's just like, "I've unlocked my body's full potential. Even though I'm like this 110-pound looking woman, I'm going to just lift this thing with iron hard muscles of steel." The power of adrenaline, you know, the mother strength when you have to lift a car.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on board. I love that she lived. I thought that this was going to be one of those movies where she would have to kill herself, you know, to do the world a favor. But no, Gabriel's like, "I'll be back." And she's just like, "Yeah, and I'll be ready for you when you do." Yeah. In the sequel. And then she could just look like, you know, right at the camera.
Yeah. And
that will totally happen.
I'll be ready for you with my awesome superpowers that I now have.
Yes.
Like, she can just do that
and
stuff
yeah,
now.
And because of this ending, she could have, like, swept a cape and walked away to, like, grandiose music. Like, even though she's technically responsible for the murder of, like, 40 people at that police department, she just, like, wasted everybody. They make this seem so weird and triumphant. It really does feel like the beginning of like building a team. Yeah. Like I want her to be a strange character in like some kind of weird supernatural, you know, hit squad or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you can. I don't know if I'd want a direct sequel to this, but like you can do something with this.
No, I would want her just as a character in some other, you know, story or something.
Yeah.
Just throw her in. I mean, you've already established her crazy story.
I mean, that's what I was saying about the Brightburn thing, is like, let's get some of these, like, nutso characters that aren't, like...
Yeah.
I mean, like, they're not making a Brightburn 2. They should. In a just world.
I feel like the world was just going to end after that first movie, you know?
Yeah, I know, but I thought some of the stuff... Like, I think maybe the thing that I was most excited about was, like, the end credits where it's like deeply implied that he just hooks up with a bunch of other crazy evil killer like super villains and he just goes around killing people from then on out.
Yeah. It's just like as if there's only supervillains in the world and no superheroes. So basically the world's just doomed, you know?
Yeah.
He'll probably become some kind of a tyrant that just rules the earth.
I don't know. I don't know. I like the idea of having either like an evil superhero or like a reformed evil superhero doing some stuff, you know? Yeah.
Speaking of sequels, though, Forbes put out an article. I think it was just a couple of days ago, and it just says James Wan's *Malignant* is a box office tragedy.
Yeah, I mean,
so maybe not.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't know that this went too well with people. Was this too crazy? Do you think that they went too far?
Yeah, probably. But like, that's what makes it so good.
It's weird because I have a weird love-hate thing with this. I'm so glad it exists, but I mourn for how poorly it's going to be. You know, how it's going to work out for everybody. You know what I mean?
Sure, but I mean, I guess. Like, the unfortunate thing is that when you release a movie like this, you kind of have to, like, be a James Wan, like, kind of guy who can go, like, oh, but then I'll make something, like, more suitable to the studios, you know? After this.
Yeah.
And they'll know, you know, like, they'll know that, like, yeah, of course, like, Aquaman's gonna make a shitload of money. Yeah. I'm looking forward to
This movie,
I'm looking forward.
Aquaman 2,
I liked the first one a lot.
it was fine.
I
So yeah,
mean,
this movie cost,
yeah.
it cost, what was it, $40 million. And it got 5.57 million on its opening weekend. So it's not even close to breaking even yet.
No.
I was afraid for this movie as I was watching it. I'm like, this was too much money. This is too much risk.
Yeah.
You know? And like, I'm sad because I don't want to encourage bad behavior, you know, like this could lead to bad movies, but
Yeah.
for this movie, I'm pleased, you know, like I'm glad this one exists. I don't know if I like this practice. Like this is a little wasteful and extravagant. You can go pretty cheap on a horror movie and have it be great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I feel for this film. I want it to do well. I was hoping it would do better. Well, no, actually I didn't care until I saw the movie. Now I hope, you know?
Sure.
Like, thank you for doing such a weird movie. Another strange reimagining of The Dark Half.
Okay.
Another Stephen King story that's not very good.
I was going to say, in a lot of ways, the movie reminds me of Basket Case.
Oh, yeah, also Basket Case. That's a good one, yeah.
I mean, like, although it's funny, because, like, in Basket Case, the evil twin is treated with far more sympathy.
Yeah, ironically.
Yeah.
They're much nicer to him.
Yeah, even though like,
he's... Well, no, he's about equally horrible, maybe a little less horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a different dynamic, but I feel like there's no way that James Wan or his wife didn't see Basket Case.
I don't know. Yeah, I would love to know what their influences are. I was afraid to look. I didn't want to have all of that meta knowledge flavor my experience.
No, yeah.
You know, I wouldn't mind figuring it out now, like just going back.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I did write down the IMDb keywords for this, which are all pretty weird. Well, some of them are anyway. So I'll run through these, and and then that'll be basically it.
All right. Okay, I will say
because there's what more is there to say?
I did just find an article called "How Basket Case's Legacy Carries On in James Wan's Malignant." So I'm not the only one who is thinking about
seeing these connections.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a much more direct line to Dark Half, and it is almost the same story as the About Face episode of Tales from the Crypt. But whatever.
No, I know.
Maybe all of those things, or maybe none of those things. It could be that like they're so like those things because the Wan's wife never saw them and didn't realize that she was, straying into that territory.
Yeah, I mean, hard to say. I mean, whatever the case, I'm a fan.
Yeah. Okay,
like,
so
sorry.
the most.
I was gonna say, sorry, not to like gush too much, but like, I do think this is probably the most fun I've had watching a horror movie recently.
It is very fun. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know what tone they were going for, but fun is what results.
Oh yeah,
from the film. I'm not sure because everything that happens is so dark. Miscarriages, murders, murderous visions, a ruined childhood, an abusive marriage, an inattentive adoptive sister, a world that seems to ignore the lady, and yet it's funny somehow.
Yeah.
It's cartoonish almost in a way. It's hard to describe, but yeah, it makes it really fun. It's like a weird old like pulp rag or something.
You know what? That's
or like a weird fairy tale.
You know what? That's a good point because I can feel that the twist of the second head. That feels like a very Tales from the Crypt kind of a thing.
Yes. And that's because it literally is.
Well, I mean, but what I'm saying is, like, in the comics, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Like you do the splash panel of the like, and this is what's behind her head, and it's like, holy shit,
another head.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. that was when the British had taken over making the episodes of Tales from the Crypt. The 7th season was the last season. It was also maybe the most dry and inferior.
Yeah, that was...
Although that episode is pretty good.
Yeah, I not too recently decided to go back and rewatch some Tales from the Crypt, and man, like, I know you like that show, but
yeah,
it nosedives pretty quick.
Yeah, well, okay. The episodes are very hit and miss, but for me, it's like soul food. It's like it's greasy and it's bad for you. You know, it's not great, but it's oddly comforting to me. Like I will go watch Tales from the Crypt to cheer myself up, to reaffirm my joy of life. You know, I don't know.
No, I know.
But yeah, like, a lot of the episodes are really dreadful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think it's funny that one time we were like hanging out and you're like, we gotta watch the episode with the handcuffs. Like it's just like, good lord. Like when they such a like
I love that episode.
I thought that was like so dumb at the time, but I was like afterwards I was thinking about it and I'm like, it's actually like the perfect episode to introduce some of the Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah. I forget what that episode is called or even what season it is, but it's that one where like there's that guy he fights a cop, he kills the cop, he gets handcuffed to the cop, he has to carry his corpse across the desert while he's being chased by a buzzard who like doesn't want to eat the dead guy. He wants to eat the living guy because he's an evil criminal.
Yeah.
You know, maybe criminals taste good. So then, you know, he goes through all this crap and he's right about to make it to Mexico and get away from everybody. And he just falls off a cliff and breaks his neck and gets paralyzed. And the vulture just eats him like just, you know, fresh, you know, like while he's still alive. And he's screaming. He's just like, I'm not dead. And man, yeah, that if you haven't seen that, I mean, don't watch all those Tales from the Crypt. A lot of the episodes are horrible, but yeah, find that episode, watch that.
Yeah,
it will stay with you forever. In maybe a good, maybe a bad way. You know, depends on who you are.
Like these legitimately
it leaves an impression.
It's haunting.
Yes,
it's like the best way to describe that episode is like it's a like haunting story. It stuck with me.
Yeah. I used to have that joy of just like, you know, traumatizing my friends a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
I don't, because I guess like before that, my like experience with like Tales from the Crypt was like the movies, which are like grim but less grim. So like I saw that and I'm like, good lord.
Yeah, the tone would vary on who was in charge, you know, who the director was, because every episode was different. Yeah, it's an anthology, so, you know.
Yeah.
Some were better than others. Okay, so I got the top 20 IMDb plot keywords.
All right.
So let's just dive into them real quick. Woman in jeopardy.
I mean,
yeah.
That's also every horror movie.
Yeah, 3 people found that relevant, but I mean, yeah, that's almost all movies, isn't it? Like, yeah.
Scary man trying to kill people. Like, oh, okay, all right.
Someone is upset. Well, there is some of that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that one's not helpful, but the next one is Giallo-esque. You know, because, you know, it's like a Giallo film. So, yeah.
I can see that, yeah.
It does have an absurd Italian feel to it. In a good way. This movie is an amalgamation of bad habits of several different subgenres of horror, all just pushed together.
Oh my god, you know, like I'm thinking about it, and the whole twist with the little monster man living on the other side of woman's head, I would really want to see a 70s like Giallo movie do something like that, because it would be just like a horrible puppet. And it's like not out of line for that kind of movie to do that sort of thing, but it would look.
It would probably be at the very end of a movie.
Yeah,
it's just like a shocking outro.
Yeah, it's like
it'd be like, I wonder who did it, and it just reveal the head, like
Yeah, it would look so much worse.
And then she would just reach out, grab someone's testicles and just
Yeah.
rip them off through his pants.
Yeah.
Like whichever movie that was where that happened. It was like the last shot of a movie with like a Frankenstein woman that someone was trying to make. And, it was just a dead body. There was no reason for it to be alive. But it just shoots out her hand and just rips off someone's junk. And then it just goes to credits.
I feel like I know that movie, but I can't recall it.
I don't remember what it's called. And
Yeah.
not off the top of my head. It's too hard to search for right now. But yeah. I believe it was covered at one point on Dead Meat. So you can figure out what, whichever episode that is. Ugh. Okay. So, yeah. Monster. Is it a monster? Well, I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
It acts like a monster.
Pretty horrible.
Yeah. Dream. Blood. Vision. Serial murder. And that's, it's all just basic nouns here.
Yeah.
Imaginary friend. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not true, though. I mean, they think it's an imaginary friend, but it was never imaginary. It was always a distinct organic mass with its own thoughts and emotions. So, yeah.
I mean, like
shared at least part of its brain with her.
In spirit, I think that works, though.
Yeah. Everyone seems to think it is. Serial killer. Serial killing. Death of husband. Yeah. Gore.
Sure.
Retro horror. Yeah, it does have a very retro feel and that kind of pseudo 80s thing that we've been doing lately.
Yeah, definitely.
I do like a bit of honoring of the 80s. I'm glad that people have kind of been pulling their punches a bit. Because I remember in the 90s, there was this weird throwback to like the 50s. They were like, they used to play Happy Days.
Yeah.
And like, there was like a Pound Puppy show where they like played like doo-wop for the theme song. There was a lot of weird 50s stuff. Yeah. Oh, Little Shop of Horrors, was all doo-wop-y and everything.
Yeah.
That was heavier into that. Whereas nowadays in the, the 2020s, I guess, and the 2010s before that, there's a certain reverence for the 80s, but it's not overwhelming, it feels like. I don't feel like they've taken it too far. Although this movie might be borderline. This might be a little much.
I think it's fine. I mean, like, you could do worse.
At least they didn't go with like 80s outfits.
Wait, yeah, that's what I was thinking is, like, it could have been a Stranger Things.
Horrible, like, side ponytail, on the side of your head. Oh, man, I'm glad they didn't bring that back. That was terrible. Horrible times for everyone.
Yeah, not great.
Terrifying. Oh, only 2 of 3 found that relevant. So one person's like, no.
I mean...
Not terrifying.
I don't know. I mean, I guess that's hard to say. I mean, it's I think you could freak
I was never scared.
Yeah.
Well, wait, no, let me think. There was 1 or 2 creepy parts.
Sure.
Oh, that part where the underground tour guide lady was walking down the dark tunnel and was hearing noises, and she had to like run to turn the lights on. That part did freak me out because I've had that happen to me like 100 times in my life, where like I have this feeling like something's right behind me and I need to turn on a light. That part was good.
Yeah, I can see that.
For me.
Yeah.
That weird, it's an irrational fear, but yeah, I felt like that. Like something's like just right about to brush its hands on your back, You're like, ah! Female protagonist.
Yeah.
Only 2 of 3 found that relevant. So once again, someone's just like, nah.
Yeah. Gabriel's the real hero.
Yeah. You know that if they do make a sequel, they're going to have him be like, oh, you need me again now. It'll be like Loki or something. Be like, now you bring me out.
No thanks.
Then we have domestic violence. 2 of 3 found that relevant. So yeah, once again, like, no. He was totally in line when he pushed that girl's... No, that probably isn't what they're thinking, but I don't know. Oh, next one is same. It's the same, yeah. Abusive husband, 2 of 3. Found that relevant. I'm starting to wonder if there's just one person who's just like a curmudgeon. It's just disagreeing with everything.
Yeah. I don't like this country.
Psychic connection. Yeah. Psychic connection actually is the most good way to put it because it doesn't give anything away. It fits either version of this movie, like the demon thing or like a murderer with a psychic connection, or literally being in her own brain. You know, like I like that. It doesn't reveal anything.
No.
And then we just got terror and we got dark.
Sure.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
There's some dark parts. And yeah, that's it. That's the movie. Such as it is. It's Malignant, everybody. Round of applause. Yay! I'm glad you exist, movie. Thank you.
No,
Thank you, James Wan.
Yeah, I was pumped after seeing this.
Yeah, no, it feels like it was made for me as like if I was like an evil king, you know, and I'm like, do something that only I would like. This is what would probably be made, you know?
I was gonna say, like, in a lot of ways, it feels like, when we were younger and we would, like, watch movies together as a group, and, like, the two of us would do this, where we would be like, man, wouldn't it be funny if, and we'd, like, come up with, like, the most insane scheme or, like, twist for a movie to take?
Yes.
This movie did that, and I really appreciate that. Like, it's like we would do that
from a creative standpoint. It's excellent.
Yeah.
Just to see that someone actually did it. They made this crazy goddamn movie.
Because that's the thing is we'd always go like, it'd be really funny if they completely messed stuff up at the end, and like so and so just went totally insane, and it's like, oh yeah, that's just this movie.
Yeah. They should have advertised it as such, but I think they were trying to bring in people who just wanted to see an ordinary movie.
Yeah, I know.
They made a solid attempt to just lure people in. Like maybe they won't realize that this is just going to be a balls out, ridiculous, gory Siamese twin monster movie, you know, like a creature feature, bizarre grindhouse nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it, like, yeah, I don't know how you like come in with like no expectation of that kind of wackiness, and then walk away being satisfied.
How does a regular human take this movie?
Yeah. No, seriously, like, what is this?
Who wasn't expecting this, and this is what it is? Yeah, I mean, I can see people being mad, you know, be like, what even is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, it scratches an itch for me. Like, yeah, this is like an expression. This is like seeing something through to its logical or illogical conclusions in a way that, I find really satisfying.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Do you think you would recommend it to other people? And if so, how?
I already did. So,
well, that's true. That's why we got this podcast going. And, you know, and thank you, Jacob. Because honestly, I never would have watched this movie if you hadn't said anything. It looked boring from the trailer.
No, yeah, that's the thing. That's how you lure in the suckers, and then then you sift aside the true believers from the people who are like, well, I want an Annabelle, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, man, you're...
I wanted La Llorona, or however you say it.
La Llorona. I mean, I actually feel kind of bad because like I think that story is fun, but the movie sucks.
The whatever that is, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, you don't get a lot of folklore like monster movie, or I think it's more like ghost movies like that, you know. So it's always like very like domestic, like vaguely based on Slender Man, like American movies, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But not directly, because there was an attempted murder involved in that one.
Sure. Was it I mean, like, even The Conjuring got into that with, like, I can't even remember. There was, like, there was some, like, tall old man ghosts. And it was like, yeah, okay, I see what you're doing here.
Huh.
Like, I don't appreciate it. But,
I don't care for this.
No, yeah. This kind of sucks. Not a fan.
My only regret in the film is that the detectives didn't die. I honestly didn't like Kekoa Shaw. Yeah, I knew I was going to say it wrong.
Kekoa.
And Detective Regina Moss, his partner. I wanted them both to die.
Oh, yeah, Kekoa.
They only get a little cut up at the end, and that's it.
Yeah, well, I mean...
there's a lot of loose plot threads about them that are never resolved, you know, like the relationship with the sister or any of that. None of that's addressed. It doesn't matter.
I mean...
Nobody cares.
Yeah, well, yeah, nobody cares. Well, you also gotta save that stuff for the sequel, man.
Yeah, that juicy sequel coming up from this huge flop.
God.
I hear you have to make like double your production budget to like more or less break even. So it may be a while before they even get in the green on this one.
Yeah. It's not happening.
Which is a shame. Well, is it a shame? It's sort of a shame. I have mixed feelings about it.
But I would want to see a sequel based on this, even though I think it would be a really bad idea to do a sequel.
Yeah, like I said, I want Gabriel and this lady, Madison Mitchell. I want them to be in someone else's movie as like just brought in.
Sure.
As some kind of a supernatural team or something weird, or just throw her in as a specialist or something. Yeah. You know, like I don't know. Maybe that's too corny and comic booky, but that's kind of why I like the idea. And you know, honestly, this movie is so ridiculous; it would fit right into that kind of thing.
It's borderline, you know. Like you can say it's too.
She's got the superpowers already.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like there's no reason they had to establish that she had the powers after Gabriel left.
Yeah, I'm real strong.
Yeah,
why?
It's like,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like why add that detail if you are going to just go completely insane for the sequel?
Maybe James Wan has already written like 2 scripts and he just hasn't told anyone. He's like, yeah, it's part of a trilogy.
Good. I hope so. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, start up a Kickstarter, James Wan. I'll give you $5.
You sure? Yeah.
Possibly more.
I do
that. All right. So yeah, I think we're about done here, Jacob. I feel like we've done some good work.
Yeah, I think so. We've
the Lord's work, even. Yeah.
Excised the tumor in our brain that was our thoughts about this movie.
Yeah, we cut out the cancer, and we pushed the bad parts back into the back of our skull, and we sealed it up.
Yes, that's a great way to think about it.
So, if anyone out there has any interest in any of our other stuff, you can go to Gorman on Gore at or gormanongore.buzzsprout.com. I can't even pronounce my own crap. Our email is at gormanongore@protonmail.com. You can tweet us at Gorman on Gore.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I wish you warm and good feelings, I guess. You know, enjoy yourselves. Have a good time. Have a good life.
Yeah, that sounds really final for, well, I don't know, we're going to do more of that stuff.
Yeah, we will never see you again.
Yeah, I don't know.
You will never speak to another human being.
Yeah, I don't know, that felt a little dark. Anyway, well...
Enjoy your last moments, everybody.
Yeah. Enjoy the parasocial relationship we have.
Yeah. So, I've been Peter.
I'm still Jacob.
And this has been Gorman on Gore. There we go. That's good enough.
That's pretty good. Nice.